Welcome to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
And we're here, back, with part 2 of Mary Mackillop. Now, when we left off...
Last time...
if you haven't seen part 1...
You should totally go back and
stop
watch that.
this, go back, watch part 1, come back.
Otherwise you'll be completely lost.
But, if you were watching and you just need a little refresher, Mary had developed an order that was growing by leaps and bounds.
Which is hilarious because it was called the Brown Joeys in Australia.
Because it was the Brown Joeys in Australia. Far faster than some members of the clerical order.
Children were being educated, souls were being won for Christ, everything was going like gangbusters, and then some bad clergy stepped in.
And then, of course, she outed a guy who was not good. And friends of the guy who was not good decided, well, we can't have this. And decided to go and try to make an example of her. And as a result, her order has been shut down. Their possessions have effectively become the belongings of the bishop.
And she herself has been?
And she has been excommunicated.
Dun, dun, dun!
Alright. So, this excommunication lasted actually only about 6 months.
Whew!
At which point, that bishop was on his deathbed.
That's what to do for crossing a saint.
Saw the errors of his way.
Deathbed conversion!
Lifted the excommunication.
That's right.
Apparently met with her personally, you know.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I listened to the jerk.
And said some prayers, blessings, you know. Everything was amended between the two of them as much as, you know, reasonably possible.
Hooray!
You know.
Before the guy died.
Yep.
And then in 1873...
He has now finished his role and he exits stage right. Possibly pursued by a bear.
And then in 1873 she traveled to Rome for papal approval of her religious congregation.
Now remember, she's traveling from Australia to Rome. This was a very long, very arduous journey then. A long time by steamship. Or clipper ship.
The group's rule of life was changed slightly to be approved, which Mary was okay with. Largely, there was a slight adjust in how the hierarchy worked within there, and they did a few things that were in the inverse of what the bishop wanted to do, and that it resulted in them essentially lessening their vows of poverty. Which she was okay with because It
gives her congregation a greater ability to do its work without having to worry about outside interference.
Also, you know, it's one thing disagreeing with a bishop who's like, I'm randomly going to change your rule. It's a different thing disagreeing with the envoys of the Pope who said, well, if you wanted to prove, this is what we want done. However, Father Woods disagreed with this, so he kind of ended his work with the group. There was a length of time when they were in the outs, but they seemed to have, you know, reconciled before either one of them passed away.
That's good news.
In Europe, while she was in Europe, she also studied education methods, school materials and books, and I'm assuming she got school materials and books, as well as some priests and new members from Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, she was picking up supplies, including people.
Well, you need teachers.
Yep.
In 1875, she was named Superior General of the Order, and she remained that until 1883.
Now, in 1883, the reason was essentially I'm guessing the probably Archbishop, because they were spread pretty far in Australia at the time, wanted someone else to be there, and although the rule of their order was that essentially it was all internal, the bishop didn't have say, however...
If the bishop
it was one of those things where, you know, they asked, so, you know, they did, like, when she was voted in, everyone voted for her, so it seems like more that she, like, agreed to step down just for that. Plus, she had other stuff to do, because the order expanded to New Zealand. So she went to New Zealand and stayed there for over a year.
So she had to wonder about the set of the Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Yep. So many hobbitses that need schooling, and they're like, "We're 107, ma'am. We're just small. We're not children."
she then traveled between the schools in both countries, and in 1899, after the death of the Superior General that had followed the person who was the Superior General after her, she was again elected to Superior General, which she continued to be until her death.
She had many health problems later in life, which included rheumatism, a stroke that left her paralyzed on her right side, and needing to use a wheelchair.
Yes, she actually learned to write left-handed, so she could continue writing letters to all the orders.
Nice.
If you look at the years, you do the math, she wasn't that old. I believe she died sometime in her 60s, but it's clear she had health problems throughout her life, because, like, when the one guy was besmirching her name and getting her excommunicated, they also spread rumors. Some of them were like they weren't spending their money well, which is probably to help make it so that the bishop agreed to, I should take the things. Another thing was they tried implying that she was an alcoholic because her doctors told her to drink some alcohol to deal with an issue, and it was a big long name, so I looked it up. And
drink some wine to deal with your stomach problem.
Yeah, like Timothy. Only it was a bit lower because essentially when I looked it up, it was like extreme cramps, and it was like to the point where she was bedridden. So she probably had like fibroids or endometritis or something that she dealt with her whole life too, which is not fun because they didn't have any treatments back then really. Besides, again, drink some wine; it'll help.
She died on August 8th, 1909. And was the first buried in was first buried.
You added the word. That wasn't my.
Sorry, that was my bad. She was buried in a local cemetery, but as people kept taking dirt from her grave, she was moved into a vault in a newly built chapel.
You want a little bit of holy ground to take home with you.
At the time when she died, pretty much the majority of the people in the area were all like,
she's a saint.
She's a saint. Like, even like the bishop who did the like funerals and stuff was like, today I buried a saint.
There are multiple movies, plays, and a musical about her.
And I just found out pre-recording this, but post-writing this, that there's going to be a book out. From what I can tell, it appears to be probably written by someone from Australia, because she's one of the major persons in it that deal with like women who became founders in their 30s and 40s.
There are also hymns and a cantata mass written for her.
She has a ferry bridge.
A bridge.
A ferry,
a bridge, an electoral district, a rose, and several colleges named after her.
Which makes sense.
At least in Australia, I presume.
Yes.
She has a dollar coin, a postage stamp, and was inducted into the Victorian Honor Roll of Women.
You can tell it's Australian because of how they spelled honor.
Yes, it's spelled with a U, and by Victorian, they don't mean ye old days when Queen Victoria is in charge. So they mean the area of Victoria.
They mean the state of Victoria, which was also named after the Queen.
Yes. Yes, apparently she's one of like 2 people in Australia that there are set rules with essentially how you can use her name. Because they didn't want people, just, profiting off of her name.
Yeah.
So, like, the colleges and schools and stuff are, going to be Catholic schools where it's like, she's a saint, and this was being worked at by the, Brown Joeys, so.
St. Mary Mackillop. She's amazing.
So go down below and let us know what you think about St. Mary Mackillop, or if you think there are other Australian saints that we need to look into, or if you think that there are other nuns and foundresses that we ought to talk about.
If Anthony of Petoskey was to run into a rogue order of Joeys, what color do you think they would be wearing?
Ooh.
Definitely Technicolor, whatever it is.
They're clearly rainbow Joeys, all right? I mean...
No. They're disco ball Joeys. They just reflect all the lights at a blinding amount, like a laser pointer to the eyes.
Actually, that one works. I like that one.
Write that down.
Disco ball Joey.
So, like this episode, subscribe to our channel, ring the church bell to be notified the next time we talk about great Australian saints and or disco ball clothing.
Yep. And until next time, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.
Now, if only we could play it on like that, Aboriginal Australian instrument.
Oh, the
didgeridoo.
didgeridoo?
Yeah.